Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing. Fresh rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip have just been launched into Israeli territory. The rockets appear to have been directly targeting a ceremony near the Gaza border, where family and friends were commemorating fallen Sergeant Oron Shaul, an Israeli soldier who was killed in the 2014 Gaza war and whose body Hamas is believed to be holding to this day. 2 rockets were destroyed by the Iron Dome system before impact, but the third hit a building in the area. No injuries have been reported, and the I.D.F. has launched an immediate counterattack on Hamas targets within the Strip. At this time, officials don't believe Hamas is directly behind this attack, but intelligence suggests that Iran supplied the missiles to the terrorists in Gaza. Israel has condemned Iran for purposefully stirring conflict between Israel and the Palestinians in the past, threatening that the regime is playing with fire, leaving the citizens of Gaza trapped in the middle. Intense anti-regime protests have erupted in Iran, the worst in the country in nearly a decade. At least 3 demonstrators have been killed by Iran's Revolutionary Guard for protesting against the current government. Iran's regime has downplayed the scale of these protests and actually accused Israel and American spies of purposefully instigating the unrest in the first place. But governments around the world have condemned Iran for its brutal use of force in trying to contain the demonstrations. At this time, dozens have been arrested for protesting, and the rallies have continued for several days now. Prime Minister Netanyahu even published a video attacking Iran for wishing a, quote, peaceful Christmas to all on Twitter, while actively jailing Christians for practicing their religion and blocking Twitter from the Iranian general public. After protests spread to Iran's capital in Tehran, the regime responded by cutting off the internet on all mobile devices. But the media blackout is only raising more questions as footage from the protests continue to leak out to the world. Reports have just come out claiming that the United States and Israel have signed a secret deal to tackle the nuclear threat from Iran. So it looks like the deal isn't so secret anymore. The far-reaching Memorandum of Understanding was signed on December 12th at the White House following intense talks between both nations and plans to set up 4 teams to handle various aspects of the Iranian threat. One team will focus on Iranian activity in Syria and Lebanon. Another will deal with both diplomatic and intelligence activities to grapple with Iran's nuclear weapons ambitions. A third will tackle Iran's ballistic missiles programs. And the fourth will oversee preparations for any escalation by Iran or Hezbollah. Back in October, United States President Donald Trump announced he would not be recertifying the Iranian nuclear deal and instead outlined a tougher approach. But for now, the fate of the agreement has been left in the hands of Congress. It's time to say goodbye, as Israel has just formally notified the UN's culture and education body UNESCO of its withdrawal from the organization, just 2 months after announcing the express intentions to do so. The United States made the very same decision back in October over UNESCO's anti-Israel bias. UNESCO chief Adri Azoulay doesn't seem to be very happy about the move, saying she, quote, regrets Israel's decision deeply, end quote. But her remarks of remorse come well after Israel scrambled to ensure it would get the paperwork done quickly enough so that it would not be forced to remain in the organization for an extra year. UNESCO is best known for its World Heritage Program to protect cultural sites and traditions. But in recent years, Israel has been infuriated by resolutions that continue to ignore and diminish its historical connections to the Holy Land. It looks like some soccer fans took their passion for the game just a little too far. 3 Beitar Jerusalem fans have just been indicted for a string of violent offenses by the Tel Aviv District Court. The fans are members of La Familia, which is a group of far-right fans of the Beitar Jerusalem soccer team. Their convictions are all over their involvement in a violent brawl with supporters of the Hapoel Tel Aviv soccer team. One of the Tel Aviv fans was badly injured by an axe. This isn't the first time that members of La Familia have been convicted for criminal offenses related to their soccer team, and earlier this year, 16 other members were found guilty for their involvement in that very same attack. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.